Ayman Khan here for Seconds Out with the one and only esteemed trainer Shane McGuigan. Shane, good to see you again, sir. How are you doing?
Good, thank you very much, mate. Yeah, it's a busy day for me. I've got 3 fighters up here doing press conferences, or whatever you really call it, sort of media workout, press conference. So a bit gimmicky, but I'm all for it.
All new innovations in the game, indeed, which boxer are looking to bring in. Something I want to pick up on straight away is you calling Caroline Dubois the most improved fighter in your gym. When you have talent in your gym at that level, I wonder why you pick out Caroline as someone with that distinction.
Because I feel like she genuinely is the most improved. Chris has done so much learning, for instance, over 5.5 years. And Adam's improved, and he's improving all the time. But I just feel like from a mental aspect as well as a physical aspect, and understanding her attributes and just getting it, it's all clicking. And it certainly has clicked. I mean, like, we can't spar any girls anymore. There's hardly any girls. There's only one girl from Islington, from Finchley that comes over. I have to spar the boys. I have to spar you and get her to spar the pro boys. And that's the level that she's at. Do you know what I mean? She's such a heavy-handed, puncher, and she's got it all. She's got good head movement, got great feet. She's learning to manage the pace of the rounds better, and that's why I genuinely believe, like, out of everybody, she's improved the most, because the people that she used to spar, she can't spar them anymore. None of them want to come over anymore. So it's just a testament to how much she's improved. And it's just down to us really now to match her well. Frustrating with this opponent, because I really didn't want this opponent. I wanted her to get some rounds in. And we got the Argentinian girl that fought Terry Harper. She was scheduled. She pulled out because she said that her confidence wasn't there. She'd come off a close loss, I think in about a month ago, and so we were frustrated at that. And then we got another girl that was a super featherweight, but she was ranked 7 or 8 in the world from Argentina. She was 6-0, and she was all up for it. And I think she might have done a little bit more research, and then she declined it. So then we had this Tanzanian girl on standby. So look, at least we got an opponent, but it's frustrating because I want rounds, and I don't think we're going to get many on Saturday.
When you talk about the mental side with Caroline, what is that? Can you elaborate that? There's not that shyness with her that there might be with Daniel there, but maybe do we not see the full extent of what you see in the gym with Caroline in the ring? Yeah,
I feel like it's not necessarily like, it's not understanding how good she is. Do you know what I mean? It's not necessarily doubting herself. It's just more like, you are special talent. She had a lot of amateur wins as a junior and a youth. And then she went straight into senior and she got beaten twice. And someone that's 46-0 as an amateur, and then you come into the seniors, you got beaten twice, and that's mainly because of pace of the fight and experience. So you can instantly doubt yourself, say, oh, maybe I'm not as good as I originally thought. But she is. She is. And if she had two years of international experience as a senior, she'd have beat those girls with ease. So now, being in a gym where she's, around seasoned fighters like Robbie Davies and Chris Billum-Smith and Daniel and people like that, and then also being there with the next wave like Adam and stuff all coming through, Ellie and Hassan and stuff. So yeah, it's a great blend for her to really zone in, and you can kind of get not lost, but there's so much attention on Adam, and there has to be equal amounts of attention on Caroline, because she's equally as talented. Such a talented girl, and she's going to be an undisputed multi-weight world champion. I've got full belief in that.
On the women's side of the game, when you have a level of punch power, you're a bit of a unicorn. Does the punch power that she have, will that carry her to world title contention and a world title?
I think so, but she doesn't rely on her power, but she does. She's punching so much harder because she's setting her feet more. In the amateurs, she was hitting and getting off before, thinking about the exit before landing the shot. Whereas now it's understanding that she's probably at her best when she's in close, and because she's got great hand defenses and she's got great head movement and great balance. And then when she rips her shots, God, she can really work the head and body. So, I feel like she's going to knock so many girls out that might not have been stopped or gone the distance in previous fight, or former world champions and stuff. So it's just about building it, continue to make statements, and yeah, the next 12 months I want her to be a world champion.
Moving on to Adam, it seems like, I mean, in terms of the outside game with him, he's so level-headed and grounded. It seems like maybe there isn't maybe too much to manage on that side. But do you keep an eye on him in that sort of sense to see if he's got his feet on the ground? Because the amount of stock that's been put into him, it seems like he's going to be the superstar that boxers say he will be.
Yeah, I mean, I was the person that was selling it to Boxer, saying this kid is unbelievable, and they bought right into the hype. And I won't mix my words. He is a special talent. And he's a superstar. So he's been told he's going to be a superstar from a kid. He believes it, and that's why it's not really phasing him. Of course, listen, you know what it's like I don't want his team to instantly grow overnight and get from 10 people to 20, 30 people, and then you get the AJ syndrome where it's like 70 people are trying to get up to into the dressing room. You know, that I'll never let that happen. But there's going to be a lot of pressure on his shoulders, even more pressure. And then when he's in title fights, but the good thing is he's got that now. When he's a clear favourite to win fights, whereas when he's then into 50-50s or fights where he's 60-40 favourite, it's the norm for him. Whereas other people, they'll suddenly be his opponents. Hopefully, they'll be under that pressure and limelight, and it will always favour Adam because he's used to it.
People will say publicly, like, when we're going to see Adam maybe thrown into that big leap up in levels, is that going to happen, or is it a gradual thing with Adam?
Who do they want to see in box? That's the truth. Like, if you knew how many people turned this fight down, look, it's just after Christmas, so I know a lot of people are thinking, can I make the weight in 6 weeks, or am I going to be ready in 6 weeks? And a lot of people as well are thinking, do I want to get embarrassed? Do I want to get knocked out cold in 2 or 3 rounds when really I could stretch my career over 4 or 5 fights? Maybe not make that same amount of money, but they'll get more activity. And look, boxers have been throwing a lot of money out at opponents, and they're still turning it down. Obviously I manage Adam as well, so I know what figures they're putting out for these guys, and they're turning it all down. So it just shows that there's a real fear element, and it's not what he's doing here, it's the stories in the gym. People coming over and sparring, and those whispers are getting out into the boxing crowd.
Okay, moving to your stable, I see Ellie's got an event and go frustrations online on Twitter. What's the latest with Ellie?
She's going to be boxing in middle of April, and she's fighting for an interim title. There was a New Zealand girl that was... so Shanika Johnson's got an extension because of the cut. We got scheduled to box a New Zealand girl, then it went quiet, and she's declined the fight. She got pushed down to number 10. There's another Mexican girl that unfortunately had a bleed in the brain, so I don't think they're going to sanction that. So there's the next lady down is an American girl that's 27-2-1, so 2 losses and 1 draw. And I think that's who we're going to hopefully get over the line and get scheduled to box for the interim title, and then we'll go carry the camp straight on into the world title fight, which will be in summer, June, July.
Liam Pacquiao versus Robbie Davis Jr. has been announced now. I hate using cliches, Shane, but am I on point in saying that it maybe is last chance saloon for Robbie Davis Jr.? Is that fair?
You could say that. Yeah. Look, that's down to Robbie to sort of voice those concerns. He's been been a Commonwealth, been a European champion, never fought for a world title. Liam Pacquiao's number 2 in a WBO. If we beat him, we're there. So, and that's his goal. I don't think he wants to drop back down to domestic level. He's due a shot. But this is a massive ask. We're in the red corner. We're on the certain side of the poster, which I'm used to being on the other side. And doing the negotiations for the fight, we realised that how much it's stacked in Liam Pacquiao's favour. But you don't get given anything in boxing. You got to go out there and earn it. And if Robbie beats Liam Pacquiao and fights for a world title, he's certainly earned it.
You feel free to no comment on this if you like, but it's official now. Lawrence Okoli has moved with Sugar Hill Stewart. Do you feel beside yourself that is a good fit for Lawrence Okoli moving forward?
You would think so on paper. I feel like Lawrence has done a lot. Like, this is his 4th coach now in 17 or 18 fights. It's a lot of moving around. We had a good little run together. I was ingrained in some stuff that I believe that works well for him, and that there was a synergy between the two of us that that, you know, he overshoots the right hand. He needs to shorten his right hand up because he throws his jab short and he throws his right hand long. He smothers it and his feet are all over the place. But we were getting there. You know, when he boxed Jazuski, when he boxed Glowacki, we were starting to get there. When he boxed Cieslak, he had a knee injury after about 4 rounds, and he reverted back to his old ways. But, you know, Sugar Hill's a good coach. You know what I mean? And technically, he works on the right hand, which is Lawrence's best attribute, his right hand. And he works all on the one pad, which is going to suit Lawrence as well. And hopefully he gets good sparring, you know. And he's not a complete fighter, of course not, but he knows what he does well, and I don't think he's ever going to change that. He's never going to be one of these guys that puts his hands up tight and fights at mid to short range. He hates it there, absolutely hates it. But there's no business for him to be mixing up in mid to short range. You know, when you're 6 foot, you've got a 6'9" inch reach, and you're 6'5", and you're fighting cruiserweights. You know, he just needs to do exactly what he's doing: jab, throw the 1-2s, move off to the right, use his feet, and you know, try and walk guys onto shots. I feel like when he moves up to heavyweight, it's going to be better for him because they're going to be that bit slower. They'll be less messy, and I feel like that's when you're going to see the best Lawrence. But at the same time, they take a better shot and they're physically stronger, so that would take away some of his attributes. But look, Sugar Hill's, you know, in terms of developing fighters and stuff, he hasn't really developed many. He's taken a lot of guys on when they're at that top level, and he's tweaked them, you know. But you know, I don't think you're going to see a reinvented Lawrence Okolie. Let's put it that way. You know, I've changed a lot of people in my time, and I've worked at their strengths and attributes, and I think it's just going to be more of the same with what he's going to be doing with Lawrence. It's just whether Lawrence can do what the trainer wants. That's the thing, and he doesn't have that mental block in his mind.
One big criticism around the package of Lawrence, which you were looking to untie, and you were untying with him during your time with him, was the kind of messiness as a fighter and the hugging aspect of him as a fighter. Do you feel that with Sugar Hill that might be untied a little bit further, or do you think that entertainment side might not still be there?
Well, he either knocks guys out cold or he boxes them. Like, it's almost like he's boxing them and then bing, he hits them with one shot and they go out. And then if he doesn't land that shot after 4 rounds, 5 rounds, it gets messy. And that's just down to, like, he used to infuriate me because he used to spar within himself, and he would always, like, really good sparrer, but he always spar with himself. He wouldn't let his shots go, and you know, he was always just going through the motions. And I'd say, come on, like, you're paying these guys, just land that shot properly. And it's like, so you have to practice it in the gym. You can't just throw like loose right hands and then just look to go exit. And then when you get into the fight, you look to try and take their head off because your timing, all your balance and everything's all off. But yeah, I feel like, you know, it's this next opponent, David Lights, it's going to be just a 1 or 2 round jobby, but there might be a bit more entertaining. It just depends when he's up in the level, boxing guys like Gulamarian or Optea, or even going up to heavyweight. That's when he's going to have to have a bit more discipline, because he uses that wrestling tactic and that mauling them because he's so much bigger and stronger than them, and it fatigues them. But he won't have those attributes when he goes up to heavy.
Moving on, I see that Boxer have signed Martin Bakole. Now, different platforms, sure, but cross-promotional fights do happen when Dubois is ready in return. Potential fight in the future, Bakole?
Yeah, definitely a potential fight. I think he's WBA 1 or 2, so yeah, it's a fight for sure for Daniel. So, you know, and that's what it really needs. It needs another promoter pushing the other person, so then it forces these guys to fight each other. And it also makes sense business-wise, because look, you know, Bakole doesn't have a big following. We've got a great win against Tony Yoka, and he's a very good fighter, but he doesn't have that. He's going to want quite a lot of money, and he wants the he's going to want quite a lot of money, but he wants the big fights, and these guys are going to try and pay him little because the money's going elsewhere. So hopefully he can build his rapport, get his status up a bit, and then that fight will naturally happen.
A couple of things for me. Whispers are Manny Pacquiao, Conor Benn. Any interest, Shane?
Not for me. No, not for me. Manny's had his day, and I don't feel like he should be entertaining that fight, suiting Conor Benn. And I don't think a guy like him, he's made all the money. He got the amazing legacy. let him sail away into the sunset.
Roy Jones Jr. returns once again.
Can't give it in. Yeah, that's disappointing to see it. But it's like, how many fight/exhibitions has he had? I don't know. I don't feel like he should be boxing again.
Super final thing, Anthony Joshua versus Jermaine Franklin. The feeling is there that, and you've mentioned it, Joshua will put his punches together and he'll hopefully finish Franklin. Is this the right type of fight for him in terms of maybe not being the level of jeopardy there has been in previous fights for a fighter like him to come back from mentally to build him back up?
Yeah, and Jermaine Franklin's had a good performance against Dillian Whyte. I don't think he won it. I feel like Whyte won it. He was in control, but it was reasonably close. But having Jermaine Franklin in the gym when he was sparring Daniel, like if you pot shot with him, if you go singles on him, he's tough. He's got a good little shoulder roll. He's calm under pressure. That's all cool. But then when you put your punches together, he falls apart a little bit, and I feel like this is going to be a great statement for AJ if he does let his hands go. He's not a massive puncher as well, frankly. He's not a big guy, so when he does start letting his hands go, it's going to be that great finish, and that's what he needs. He needs a confidence fight. Heard he was going to fight Dempsey McKean, another southpaw. So go for a more traditional. Go and showcase yourself, and I feel like that's a great fight for him.